our Run Pure Sports Core Report. What a week to debut our Core Report when just Wednesday, our early slate MLB cores crushed. DraftKings led the way, recommending a Blue Jay stack featuring Ross Stripling, Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and Teoscar Hernandez, who all went off for close to 20-plus points each. Blue Jay stacks found their way into early slate cores across the board, leading to RPS logos all over the leaderboards. RPS is always innovating DFS content, and this week, we wanted to introduce you to some new items we are including in our premium offerings. First up is the Daily Assist featuring Hoop 2410, who will be giving a premium overview on daily slates for a variety of sports, including MLB, PGA, and will soon be diving into the NFL as well. Hoop is one of the top-ranked DFS players out there, so to get his early premium thoughts on a slate will help you think like a pro and build that bankroll. Make sure to check out Hoop's Daily Assist in the past shows section of our Run Pure website. Hoop is not the only one creating new content to help our members crush. Mangone has also debuted Mangone's 3Max, a daily new chart to help you navigate MLB single entry and 3Max contests. Mangone is one of the most successful cash game players in the industry. Find out his premium recommendations for 3Max and single entry contests daily in the MLB drop-down menu on our Run Pure Sports homepage. All of this and more content is available virtually for every slate and every sport, all for a low monthly price of $80. Plus, you can knock 25% off your first payment by using promo code RPSHeater25. As always, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, get in there now and take advantage of all of our free daily video content. Our content features the top DFS pros in the industry, giving you their winning takes, so subscribe today and find out why we're one of the fastest growing DFS sites out there. Thanks for joining us for this week's Core Report, and we will see you again soon.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Monday Swing for the Fences show, joined by my two boys, Gary, talking some baseball, breaking down this 9-game slate. There's no weather on the slate, but as Mike already said, Mike usually always talks about Gary and something about his Braves. Switch it over to title today, because yes, the Dodgers are in Coors Field. Very big talking point on this slate. We'll get to that. Decent slate though, man. Pitching isn't nearly as good as most other slates. I'm excited to hear who these two got to say. Outside of the Dodgers, every team's going to be somewhat low owned. So it's an interesting slate for sure. Excited to dive in, break it down. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe button as always. Hoop, I'll go to you first. How's your day going? How was your weekend? What are your thoughts on this slate? It's an interesting one.
Yeah, everything's going well in terms of the MLB slate. Yeah, I think it's a solid slate. I mean, a lot of teams with some big totals. We got a lot of warm weather around the country, and then you got the Coors situation with the Dodgers facing Chad Kuhl, who can't strike anyone out. They have a team total of about 7. The one interesting dynamic though is they played the game last night. Had to travel across the country. It's interesting if you are looking to fade the clear chalk on the slate. I mean, the stone clear chalk. That's some fuel for you, I guess. I mean, it's probably something that I won't be doing, but that's one thing that could work to your advantage if you're looking to get off the chalk spot. Pitching, not the greatest on the slate, but I do think there are some guys that we can look to here. Looking forward to break it down with you guys.
Absolutely. And I was going to say the same thing that Captain said in chat. Mr. Gary over here, absolutely grinding everything today. He's been diving in since this morning in the Discord as he always is, but he also had a playbook, the free article. Now he has this show, and then he's going to be on the cores later. So talk to him, Gary, man. You've been diving in for a long time. I'm ready to hear everything you got to say.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun slate. Like Hoop here said, I don't think it's going to be a slate where I'm going to be fading the Dodgers here. I just think it's too good of a spot for them. But I think we can get a little bit – I have a couple different takes here on pitching / maybe a lower-owned offense than they should be tonight. And we have a lot of extreme pitcher umpires too on this slate, which could help some of these pitchers out down below. So definitely looking forward to it, and let's go.
Before we even get into anything, Gary, I know you're a little hockey guy, aren't you? You like some hockey? Were you watching the Stanley Cup yesterday? The Avs got it done. Mangone's not on the show. DC from Colorado, but man, it was a good game. The rightful team won. Did you watch it at all? Because someone said talked about it in the chat.
I haven't really been watching hockey that much. Last night I was watching the Braves and the Dodgers. They went into extras, and that was really a good game last night. It did not go the way the Braves wanted it to. We were up 2-0 going into the bottom of the ninth. Kenley Jansen blew a save, and we could not get the job done. But it's all good. But yeah, from everything that I'm seeing, I mean, Colorado, the first championship in 21 years, I think. They had still 4 or 5 players from their 48-point season a few years ago. So it's definitely exciting to see that, and always love seeing the Tampa Bay Lightning go down.
Wait, did you say Kenley Jansen blew a save? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Another day ending in Y. I know Captain's in chat too, but yeah, I was watching it, and if there's any Avalanche fans in the YouTube chat, congrats. That is 21 years, like you said. That Cale Makar dude is an absolute stud. I don't watch too much hockey. I turn it on sometimes in the playoffs. Stanley Cup, I watch most of the games, but man, that Cale Makar kid, only 23 years old, all of his achievements so far. Very, very cool. It's good hockey, but Avalanche are definitely the better, the faster team. So that's enough of hockey. Again, there are probably some Avalanche fans. There's definitely some hockey fans in here. So that was a good Stanley Cup. We got Mike in chat, as I said. Nate Defy always in here. Travis Duarte, Craig, AJFL, Smoothing Sound, Scott Ferguson. We appreciate all of you hanging out with us. Tim Allenwood, hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe button. As always, we appreciate it. But we'll dive right into pitching. And Gary, I have to start with you since you've been diving in probably since 7 a.m. or something like that. I'm going to say talk about Kevin Gossman at 9.8, who's the most expensive pitcher on this slate, going down to Jordan Montgomery, who has the best matchup on the slate at 8K against Oakland. So talk about that top range for me.
Yeah, I don't think I can do Gossman today. He just hasn't looked right the last few starts. He's got a decent K prop, 5.5. But we have a lot of pitchers down here, a lot cheaper than them. Got the same K prop, same amount of juice, whatever. I just don't like paying this 9.8 price tag for him. Boston's coming up to Toronto. The roof is open. Decent pitcher, but like I said, the results just have not been there for Gossman. I'm going to prefer to save salary on this slate. And I don't know what DraftKings is thinking on this Tyler Anderson price, 9,500. Like, I see a 7 projection from a 9,500 pitcher. Like, no thank you there. I do have quite a bit of interest here in Pablo Lopez. Looking at the underlying stuff a little bit, he doesn't seem to stick out a lot, but then you realize St. Louis, they did roll out 5 lefties today, but one of them basically doesn't count. This Lars Nootbaar guy is not good at baseball. So now you know what's going to happen. Nootbaar's going to hit a dong now that I talked crap about him. But, Pablo Lopez is elite versus right-handed bats. I think he could just mow down this lineup. He's got an extreme pitcher umpire and Tripp Gibson. Definitely, I have a lot of interest in him above 9K. And then I also have interest here in Martin Perez. Just a solid guy. He's not going to get you a ton of strikeouts, 4 to 5 strikeouts probably. But he's going to go 6 to 7 innings, and he's got a matchup here against Kansas City. I'm definitely not afraid of this lineup. They don't strike out a lot, but they did just trade Carlos Santana to Seattle, which is not good news for our boy Stevie Boyden's Ty France, who just went on the IL a couple days ago. So I definitely have a lot of interest here in Martin Perez. Just going to get the job done for us. You know what I mean? He's going to go out and get us 20 to 25 DraftKings points. I'm going to be okay with that at 8,900. And then going down, Lucas Giolito is going to be a huge talking point on this slate. He does have the highest strikeout rate on the slate. And if you look at the hand in this chart on the site, the Angels have been striking out the most versus right-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks. There are a lot of alarm bells going off for me with Lucas Giolito. He has not been good recently. He's been I think he's allowed the most home runs on the slate, which is saying a lot because Tristan McKenzie's on the slate, who's also a home run machine. Lucas Giolito, I've seen his spin rate is down a lot. Back to the spin rate conversation. Velo is down a little bit. I was talking with DC earlier today, and we were both expecting some sort of IL stint because I think he's going to get rocked here tonight, and he's going to give up 3 or 4 more bombs. But I do have a lot of interest here in Jordan Montgomery too. So, I mean, he's got CB and Bucknor behind the dish, who is another extreme pitcher umpire, going to be helping him out, 8K. Jordan Montgomery is another one of those guys, similar to a Martin Perez. He's not going to wow you with strikeouts, but he's going to go 6 to 7 strong innings against a weak Oakland lineup. Definitely like him a ton. So I guess I would rank him up here. Pablo 1, Jordan Montgomery 2, and Martin Perez 3.
I like it. Yeah, definitely a good breakdown there. Hoop, I was going to ask you, Martin Perez, like I said, every time I feel like we're on this show, his last start, like probably your last show, Martin Perez, right there on the slate. We talked about him. What, he got 17 last time? If you signed me up for 7, or no, he got 24 last time, 18 the time before. Gary said, if you give me 20, 25, give me 18 on a slate like this, and I'm just going to probably lock him in at pitcher is how I look at it. So Martin Perez, and then, you got to touch on Lucas Giolito because the name, obviously, he's been good for a period of time. Man, has he been awful lately, though. Negative his last 2 starts, then 13, 8. Price came down where it should be, but talk about it because Angels at top heavy, absolutely, it's scary. The bottom of the order, absolutely awful. So talk about this 9.8K Gossman to 8K Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah. Just one bone to pick real quick. I mean, you said you had to go to Gary first because he's been grinding the pitcher stats and numbers since 7 a.m. You don't think Hoopster got up at 7 and started looking at these pitcher stats?
No, I do not.
Yeah, you're right. You know me too well. I'm kind of just diving into this.
So I'm right there with you.
A lot of the same thoughts up here as Gary. Like, I can't pay the 9.8K for Gossman in this spot against Boston. It's just an offense I respect. And, Gossman hasn't been all that good, as Gary kind of alluded to. So it's an easy spot for me to just kind of be off of him at 9.8K, most expensive guy on DraftKings. I mean, you look at his last 5 starts, he hasn't got over 18 fantasy points. That's not going to do it as the most expensive guy on DraftKings tonight. So easy fed there. Tyler Anderson, I mean, no clue why they put him at 9.5. Like, he could be like $2,000 cheaper, and we're probably still not playing him. Maybe, something got messed up in the algorithm and they had him on the road, or I don't know, or at home. I have no idea. Pablo Lopez at 9.1, I do have some interest in. A lot of righties. I think this is an lineup that he can take advantage of. Martin Perez, I mean, as much talk as he's got on the show, I still have yet to click his. Have you been playing him at all, Title? Because we always joke about it on the show.
We talk about him every time, and he gets the job done.
Yeah, and he continues to get the job done. I like some other guys for cheaper, I think. So probably just continue to be off of him. The strikeout stuff just isn't there. Oh, man, although you look at it, 6.5, 4, 7, 5, 6, like he's getting strikeouts, and he always has that projection hanging right around like 3.5. Let me pull that up. So I was just looking at the strikeout projections before, and I want to say his is like at 3.5.
Yeah, it's his prop 3.5. I mean, a lot of juice on the over.
Yeah, you can't do that. Just massive juice. Yeah.
Can you take alt lines on DK for strikeout props?
I don't know.
Maybe you can do it on FanDuel.
On FanDuel, you can.
Yeah, so maybe that's a play. But for DFS, not set on what I'm going to do with Perez. Giolito's an interesting one. I mean, again, if you're looking at strikeout props, his is sitting at 6.5 on the slate, but he's been bad. And that last game, we were taking hitters against him. Who did he pitch against last game? I can't remember. I want to say the Yankees, right?
Trout was the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays hit him up. Houston hit him up. So 2 of the better offenses got to him. But man, him going against like Trout and Ohtani right now, I don't want to be on the Giolito side of that. So likely off him. But I will say on FanDuel, I might take a couple shots on him on FanDuel. He's only 8K, and they actually did a much better job with the pitcher pricing. All these mid-range guys on DK are up there on FanDuel. Like Jordan Montgomery's 9.2K, Kirby's 9K. Martin Perez is 9.7, Pablo Lopez is 10K. I'd be willing to take the chance on FanDuel in tournaments at 8K flat. So slight interest there on DK, though. I don't think I'm going to mess with them. Montgomery, I mean, you just got to, continue these middle of the road pitchers, which I consider Montgomery to be, in a matchup against Oakland, that's where you want these guys. And it's a good price tag. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes out there and gets 18, 19, 20 fantasy points. You take that and be very thrilled on the slate. So a lot of interest in Montgomery as well. So yeah, my two guys up here will, Montgomery and Pablo Lopez are my two favorites.
Yeah, and if you look at Montgomery, I mean, he's won at least six innings in his past 6 starts, which is very important on FanDuel, trying to get that quality start. He has 9.2K, but that is something you want. I mean, on both sides today with how pitching is. Gossman, a lot of question marks. Giolito, question marks. Tyler Anderson, no deal being up there. You guys didn't mention Tristan McKenzie or Sonny Gray at all. So, man, we're going to get down in the lower tier, and we're talking about these Dodgers, too, that are the clear team on the slate. You guys both mentioned you guys are already going to be eating the chalk there. So we do need some cheaper pitchers. I think Jordan Montgomery makes a ton of sense. We're going to keep going down, though, from Adam Wainwright at 7.6 all the way to the Seabold dude is mint price at 4K. I mean, Wainwright at 7.6 against Miami, I think makes a lot of sense on this slate. With everything else, comparing all the other pitchers on the slate. He's not someone I play a lot for DFS, but on a pitching slate like this against Miami, he is steady. I think he makes sense. The big guy, George Kirby, 7.1K. You mentioned Hoop. He's 9K on FanDuel. DraftKings just doesn't move this dude's price up. He's been sitting here for way too long. I think he's the best pitcher on this slate right now. If he was 9.5K, I would have interest in George Kirby. So 7-1 going against Baltimore. I just think you hit the lock button personally. That's how I'm approaching it. Even if I was making 150 lineups today, which I'm not, but if I was, I would lock button George Kirby is how I'm approaching it. He's going to be mega chalk for sure. So I think it's dumb if you just go with the field or something like that. Either fade or go 15% or something in 150 or hit the lock button is how I'm approaching it. Talk about him, Hoop, Kirby, Wainwright, anybody else below that you have interest.
Yeah, it kind of just continues the trend of DraftKings just doing a very piss poor job of pricing the pitchers all season long. I mean, these top aces need to be closer to 12K. These mid-tier solid guys, not even a mid-tier guy like Kirby, a guy that they had priced in the 6K range continues to be successful. It's a good matchup here, and they just put him at 7.1K. Like you said, he could be 9K, and we're still probably playing him tonight. So just a really bad job overall pricing. Most of these guys could be $1,000 more expensive, which you'd like to see on the slate where we have those expensive Dodgers bats. You want to make it hard for people to play the Dodgers bats, but it's not. It's just not that hard to play them because of this piss poor pricing. But Kirby at 7-1, like you said, I mean, he's probably the best, value on the slate. Do have interest in Wainwright at 7.6. I mean, continuing the trend of picking on some of these offenses. I mean, Wainwright hasn't been all that good as of late, but some tougher matchups at Milwaukee, at Boston. I believe he had a Wrigley win game as well in that mix. So I expect him to bounce back here tonight. And then Seabold at 4K. I mean, I'll put him in some teams tonight if I want to, double stack some big time offenses. I'm willing to gamble on a 4K guy on the slate where I don't think there's going to be a ton of scoring at the pitcher position. I think you can get by with an 8 or 9 or 10 fantasy point performance as long as your offense goes off. And the last guy, as I mentioned on FanDuel, Chris Bubik is 6'3", I believe, on FanDuel.
6'1" on DK too.
Yeah, 6'1" on DK. I think I like the 6'3" a little bit more on FanDuel. I mean, that opens up the absolute world for you at home against Texas. And he's coming off a couple respectable starts. So he'll be in the player pool as well for me.
I like it. Yeah, Gary, I was going to go to you. I was going to mention Chris Bubik for you to touch on because his projection is very, very high for Chris Bubik. He's been pretty solid as of late. Noah Syndergaard, any interest there at 6'9"? Then, yeah, talk about that Seabold guy a little at 4K. Someone in chat was mentioning him too. And then I assume you like Wainwright and Kirby, but you can 8K and below. Talk about what you like.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby's an absolute stone lock for me on the slate on DraftKings, like you said. He also gets Bill Miller behind the plate, who is the nuts for pitchers when it comes for umpires. So, I mean, he checks all the boxes. His 5.5K prop was the first thing I bet this morning, and it's still at 5.5 for some reason. No clue why, but still, my favorite bet of the day there. Adam Wainwright, another guy, gets a good umpire in a good pitcher's park here, wind blowing in a little bit in Seattle. Definitely like him. I don't think personally I'm going to go below Kirby. I just like these pitchers. I think I can get enough bats that I like on this slate. There's some cheap ones that I like. So I don't hate. I mean, the Connor Seabold thing. So I guess somebody else was supposed to start, and they had to, they haven't gotten the vaccine or whatever. So they had to call him up. I know he pitched 21 pitches in a game in AAA on Friday, which is a couple days ago. So I think he's probably going to go 2 to 3 innings. It would be my suspicion here. And then we're going to see a bullpen for the rest of it. So
we're seriously still letting people play in Toronto that don't have the vaccine.
Yeah, that's why they optioned Jarren Duran down too. That's why he's not in the lineup.
How dumb! I mean, just complete morons. I am just so stupid. I mean, it's July of 2022. July of 2022, and this shit is still fucking lingering. Unreal. Sorry, just had to say.
Who knows when it'll end?
Yeah. So
some people have their way never.
It's not going to end. It's not going to end in some countries, but anyway. But yeah, I don't have any interest in Seabold. I just don't see the upside. The projection's pretty low, but I get Hoop's point and trying to jam in some higher price bats here. He's going to be low on. So I mean, if he gets you 8 to 10 points, I think you're happy there. Chris Bubic,
what's the K prop for Kirby on some of these other sites? You said 5.5 on DK. Is it higher elsewhere?
I haven't seen it.
I
bet it on 5.5. Yeah. I bet it on MGM this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, FanDuel has like 6 strikeouts. It's minus 113. 5 is minus 260. So that DK price is real nice.
Yeah.
Always important to price shop.
Yeah, that's a really good price.
So yeah, Chris Bubic for me, I don't think I can do it. I get the projection. Texas has been pretty bad. They are in Kansas City, so they're coming out of the cavern, but they're going into another pitcher's park. So George Kirby's an utter lock for me, and I like Wainwright there at 7.6. I'd rather get up to Wainwright at 7.6 than go all the way down to 6.1. So I think I'm just going to limit myself to 5 guys today, the 3 I mentioned earlier, and Wainwright and Kirby.
I like it. Hoop, what Gary said about Seabold pitching on Friday, 21 pitches, does that change your approach on him at 4K?
Well, I mean, honestly, I haven't built teams yet, but if you view Kirby as like a lock, it probably is not necessary to come down here. Like, I haven't built teams yet, so I don't know for sure what it would take for me to play Seabold. But with Kirby being close to like a lock button play, yeah, you probably don't need to come down there. We'll see. Like, if I have a team where I absolutely love my offense, I'm getting everything I want, I'd be willing to just punt it off because of the nature of the slate where I just don't think you're going to need huge scores at pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, I just plugged in. So if you plug in Wainwright and Kirby, you're left with about 4,400 at the rest of the spots for hitting. If you plug in Kirby and Seabold, you're left with like 48.6. So, I mean, I feel like going with the Wainwright, right? I personally, I'm not, especially with what Gary said about pitching on Friday. I don't think there's a need to go to Seabold, but yeah, I mean, it'll probably be unique. I don't see people going to Seabold. So, Gary, I'll go to you. Give me your top 4 pitchers on the slate.
I'm going to go with George Kirby, obviously number 1. Then I'm going to go Pablo Lopez, Martin Perez, Jordan Montgomery, and then Adam Wainwright. That's how I rank my 5.
I like it. Hoop, going to you. Give me your top 4 pitchers on the slate.
Yeah, we'll go Kirby, Montgomery, Lopez, and then give me my Seabold guy. I'm sticking with him. Give me 10 fantasy points tonight. That's all I want. I don't want any more than 10. Just 10.
And you're locking in Kirby, so you're playing him with Kirby, or you don't know?
I don't know if I'm locking Kirby. I mean, I think he is a great play. You're
more inclined to like a Pablo Lopez Seabold.
I could do something like that. I don't know. I mean, I got to look at the Kirby thing. It's just annoying that he's 7.1K. I just hate that when there's just such an obvious play at pitcher.
And there's obvious offense in the Dodgers. So if you play Kirby and you play the Dodgers, you have to know what you're doing, and you better get contrarian somewhere else or something. So, yeah, it's an interesting slate. It's a slate we definitely know where the 2 clear chalk options are: pitcher, Kirby, hitting the Coors. All right, before we get into game by game, let's see what we got. Over 500 watching, 150 likes. Do us a favor, please. Hit that like button. Hit that big red subscribe button while you're at it. 300 is the number we do need for the plays of the day. And then we have a couple things. Wimbledon going on right now in the tennis streets. I saw Susie gave out a winner. I saw Spread gave out a winner. Dunkel tweeted about a little plus 145 action. Saw 30K up top. I even woke up and saw BigT posted a tennis score. So big prize pools in the tennis streets for Wimbledon right now. Susie does a great job with that. Matty Ice helps out. We got Spread that helps out as well. And there was Jimbo Drums who won $900, a solo shipper for tennis streets. So make sure you check that out. That's what we always say. One price, you get all the sports over here. We don't talk about tennis too much. NHL just wrapped up. Matty Ice and EJ did a great job there. I was in the chat yesterday a little bit since I was watching the game. A lot of people said they had a great year, very profitable. Guys like that, sports like that don't get enough shout outs. So check out tennis. Check out CSGO that Bruce does. League of Legends, I've been seeing a lot of screenshots. Captain and Big Kev do that too. So many sports over here. RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% up your first month. And you also, if you want to get DC's pitching takes, see who he's on every single night, you're going to need a premium membership to see that. He's going to be on the Up to Lock show today as always. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Like I said, 300 is the number. Let's go game by game. Pittsburgh Pirates, the Washington Nationals, Miguel Yair and Eric Fetty on the mound. We got a big total here, 9.5. It's 80 degrees in Washington. Gary, I'll go to you. The Nats, pretty good implied total. The Pirates, they've been hitting a little bit recently. So talk about this game. Any interest in bats for you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of interest in both sides of this game, mentioned in the playbook. I mean, this Pirates team, they put out, I think, all lefties against Eric Fed. That's not a recipe for success for him. O'Neal Cruz, 3,800 leading off. Brian Reynolds. All these guys are playing for me.
Except Brian Hayes is the only righty. Yeah, that's crazy.
Brian Hayes is the only guy. Yeah. So this Blake Madras, they raised his price to 4K, but nobody's going to play him 4K, and he's been pretty good. And Jack Sawinski's still 2,900. I mean, dirt cheap for these guys. You can fit them fairly easily with the Dodgers. I've done a couple teams like that already. So I think I prefer the Pittsburgh side here. I think they'll be a little lower owned than the Nationals side, but I always have interest in this Nationals team too. Against this Pittsburgh pitcher, I think he's an opener type. So I think it's going to be a bullpen game, which is not really exciting for me normally from a stacking perspective. But definitely have interest still here. And Nelson Cruz, this JSURab guy, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name or not, but he's kind of reverse splits a little bit. So I can see Nelson Cruz getting a hold of one. I'm not going to stack this team, but I'll have him in my pool for one-offs.
Yeah, I like it. It looks like he is going to be an opener. How's Pittsburgh's bullpen? Anything to be worried about?
Not good.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's not good.
I figured with it's 5.3 implied total for the Nationals. Everyone's going to go to, I mean, I can't even say everyone's going to go to Coors because they're only going to go to one side of Coors in the Dodgers. Man, I think this could be a little interesting game stack if you want to go that way. By the time Coors starts, you'll know where your night is with Pittsburgh and Washington first pitch early. So, Gary has some interest. I think this game's pretty interesting. Talk about Pittsburgh, talk about the Nats.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting game as well. I mean, you look at 9.5 total here. I mean, this is not a game you'd look at these two offenses and say 9.5 total, but that's what you got here. And, the DraftKings, again, did a very poor job of pricing these Pirates guys out there, just way too cheap, in my opinion. And you can take advantage of that. I mean, Daniel Vogelbach, 2.5K on DK, really bad price tag for him. Cruz, still too cheap at 3.8. Sawinski, like Gary said, 2.9K. A lot of different ways to go. Definitely prefer him on DK, though, than on FanDuel. And then the Nats in a really good spot here. I mean, big team total for them, over 5. Soto, Bell, Cruz are guys I'm interested in. You get a cheap shortstop in Luis Garcia at 3.1K, high upside catcher with Ruiz at 3.5K. So very solid team to attack, and I just don't think you have to be worried about ownership at all. You don't have to be worried about ownership at all outside of Coors. We know what's going to happen. The Dodgers are going to get so much ownership, but probably not as much as you would think. So not going to be worried about ownership here at any spot, even with the Dodgers. But the Nats, I think, are going to be very low owned and very appealing offense tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about ownership besides the Dodgers. And you guys, everyone knows Dodgers will be popular, what you want to do with that. When we get to that game, we'll talk about what percentage around we think It's not as high. It's not NBA where you see 2 point guards out or late in March and stuff, and you get a 95% player just because he's going to play. Kiefer Sykes when he was 95% just because every single person was out. You don't see that in baseball. I mean, maybe 30% max, maybe some guys get up to 35. We'll talk about that when it goes. But any other team, any pitcher besides George Kirby, you like it, you play it is how I see it. And you play the favorite part of that stat. Let's get to the next game. Oakland Athletics, the New York Yankees, Paul Blackburn and Jordan Montgomery on the mound. I mean, man, Aaron Judge just keeps on hitting dingers. He let him know yesterday, saying a reporter asked, were you nervous? Is there any nerves or something like that? Said, no, I'm the best player on the team, pretty much is what he said, which, hey, I mean, you can't blame him. He is definitely the best player on the team. Walk-off bomb, DJ LeMahieu sitting there. Paul Blackburn's not someone I pick on. He's a ground ball pitcher, but you look at this total, 5.5 for the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, about 76 degrees hoop. You're just going to keep riding the Yankees, and I assume no Athletics against Montgomery, but if you do, talk to me.
Yeah, no A's on this slate. Just no reason to go here. But yeah, I'm staying on the Yanks. They've treated me well all season long. It's a good spot here. Big team total for them. A little over 5.5. Judge is a guy who just need to keep playing, man. He's the best hitter in baseball right now, and another good spot for him. My guy Gallo at the bottom of the lineup, love playing him. 2.7K. I mean, still has the home run upside. I mean, obviously a down year for Gallo. I mean, he's now batting ninth for the Yankees, but he still has some home run upside. I mean, double dong upside, and he's 2.7K batting ninth. Going to be low owned. I'll certainly be on him. I'm not going to mess around with a lot of these other guys, though, like Hicks, Trevino, Marwin Gonzalez. I'm just going to focus on the main guys. Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Donaldson, Gallo is kind of the guys that I have interest in. Not going to play, DJ LeMahieu, actually, I could play some of him. He does a pretty good job of producing fantasy points, so maybe some of him too. But, yeah, Yankees in a great spot here.
Yeah, DJ also second and third base eligible. I mean, that's easy. 9. So you go 9 through 1 or 9 through 5 in that wraparound stack if you want to go them. And they're definitely going to be lower owned than people think. Again, they're all expensive except Gallo in that stack. If you play expensive bets, everyone's going to go to the Dodgers in that situation. So, Gary, any Yankees for you? And then I assume no Athletics, but if you do, talk about it.
Yeah, definitely no A's for me here, but I will have some Yankees here. I definitely prefer the lefties. So Joey Gallo's in the conversation, Anthony Rizzo. Definitely love that wraparound stack. Probably just mini stacks for me. I don't think I'm a full 5-man. I'm just because I'm gonna go overweight on a couple other offenses here on this slate. So definitely have interest more so in the lefties in Rizzo and Gallo.
I like it. Next game on the slate, the Boston Red Sox, the Toronto Blue Jays, Connor Seabold and Kevin Gossman on the mound. We got a 9.5 total. I think I did see the roof is open in this one. Man, I mean, Gossman, we talked about it. Not too much interest for all three of us. He has been struggling. We saw Jose Barrios. He's been struggling lately in the Brewers. Hoopsman, Rowdy Tellez actually double dong yesterday for a big score. Gary, can you make a case for a very low-owned Boston Red Sox team? And then the Blue Jays, they have a good implied total against Seabold, who shouldn't be pitching too many innings, you don't think? So talk about the game, 9.5 total.
Yeah, so Boston, I mean, I don't like Gossman, but I still think he's going to do good enough just to limit the offense here. I don't think he's going to give up too many bombs here. So I'm going to stay away from the Boston side here. But I have a ton of interest in this Toronto team against this rookie pitcher. Essentially, he pitched 3 innings for Boston last year. I think he got rocked in those 3 innings that he did pitch. So, I mean, I think there's going to be bombs aplenty here, and I think the Toronto stack is up there as one of my favorites on the slate. Seabold's only going to go a couple innings. This Boston bullpen I'm not scared of them. So I'm going to have a lot of these guys, and I'm going to prefer the bottom of the order guys, as I've been talking about on every show I've been on for the last couple of weeks. This Lourdes Gurriel is 2,900. He's just been mashing the ball, low ownership. Sign me up there. I like some Kevin Biggio. I think I'm going to stay away from Espinal at 4,700. I'm just going to play Kevin Biggio over him for the 2K savings. Biggio's been a lot better than Espinal recently. But yeah, and Alejandro Kirk, 4,100. I mean, I don't know what this guy should be 5K.
Should be 6,100 is what he should be.
I mean, he should be at least, 4,100 is way too cheap for this guy. He just keeps hitting bombs. But remember Pudge Rodriguez back in the day? Like, this guy needs some kind of nickname, but man, he's like a little
meatball that just goes deep every single game, man.
4 home runs in his last 5 games, 6 in his last 7 games. 8 games here. So, just an absolute beast here. Love this lineup, top to bottom. I even like some Matt Chapman here at 3,600. He got it going a little bit a couple games ago, 3,600. So I'm going to focus more on the bottom guys, and I'll mix in the top guys with my stacks, but love Toronto tonight.
Yeah, I really like Alejandro Kirk on FanDuel because 3.5K, but no one's going to play him on FanDuel, with the first base and the util spot. People always go first base over the catchers, really. And man, 3.5 compared to 4.1 with how the pricing works. He's going to be so much lower owned over there. Man, he just absolutely rakes. So definitely makes some Kirk always makes sense. Alejandro Kirk, I know you'll have some interest there. Boston, Toronto, talk about if you have any interest in the stacks.
Yeah, the Blue Jays catchers have treated us well all season long. What's our guy, Zach Collins, right? Collins early on was just...
That's not our guy. I think you're the only guy that got Zach Collins right. Anyway, Danny Jansen, Kirk, he's Jansen. Done everyone else right. Collins is just you.
Yeah, Jansen, didn't he have 2 homers out of the 9-hole early on in the year?
Jansen did some people right.
Yeah, these Blue Jays catchers hold a special spot in my heart.
Unfortunately for them, Kirk is now just the alpha, and they're not seeing too many plate appearances now.
Yeah. But yeah, way too cheap. 4.1K, great play. I agree with Gary L. Like, he's been really good this year. 2.9K is just silly price tag for him. Look at the box score. 20, 10, 10, 12, 14. He went 0 for 3 last game. So 4 out of his last 5 out of his last 6 games, he's double-digit fantasy points, 2.9K. Love to see that. I'm on the Seabold guy, but I'm also going to be on the Blue Jays as well. Very heavy. I'm fine going both sides of this. A lineup, I think I can play just about everyone. I know Espinal down there at 4.7 is, it's a tough pill to swallow, but he's going to be unowned at 4.7K down here at the bottom of this lineup. And he's shown a lot of upside this season. So I'm good with all the Blue Jays bats. And then, no thanks for the Red Sox.
Makes some sense. We got 575 watching, 195 likes. Please hit that like button for us. We need 105 more likes for the plays of the day. 300 is the number. I'm going to have to stick to that. While you do hit that like button, see that big red subscribe button to the bottom right of that right there. Please hit that for us. I see that subscriber count getting up there a little bit, Simon. People are hitting it, but Hoop says we need 10,000 sooner rather than later, and we still are pretty far from 10,000. So thumbs up button, big red subscribe button. We appreciate it as always. We'll get you the plays of the day. Let's get to the next game of the slate. The Minnesota Twins, the Cleveland Guardians, Sonny Gray and Tristan McKenzie on the mound. Gary, I got to go back to you because you were talking about guys that give up home runs for free. You said Tristan McKenzie's that guy. So Minnesota, I see Buxton in the lineup. Luis Arias, we always talk about it, 5.1K, but he deserves every bit of that price tag right there. They're expensive in the top of the order. The top 4 hitters are all 5K and above. The bottom of the order is all cheap outside of Gary Sanchez. Talk about that stack. I feel like you might have a little interest and it should go unowned.
Yeah, definitely have interest whenever. You never know what McKenzie you're going to get, right? He's either going to strike out a bunch of guys, he's giving up a bunch of bombs, or a combination of the two. I'm not going to 5-man Minnesota here. I do have interest I'm going to leave him in my pool for some mini stacks. Luis Arias is just like the Christian Kirk guy. They look very similar in body frame type. Arias hasn't been hitting the bombs. I think that's going to come around, though. I don't think I'm going to do it here on this slate, but I do have interest in Buxton, Correa, Kepler, Kirilloff. 3,100 for Kirilloff against McKenzie. That's a really appealing price tag to me. So just mini stacks for me. And on the Cleveland side, Gray's just been really good this season. He's got some good underlying stuff. I'm not going to pitch Gray, but I'm also not going to touch Cleveland in this spot.
So I don't think you were on the show. It was AP, and were you on the show that one day when I asked? Because Sonny Gray just pitched against this Cleveland team last start. Were you on the show when I asked, do you give the advantage to the pitcher? Do you give the advantage to the hitter when they just saw the team? You were on the show? Yeah. So what's your approach for that with Sonny Gray? He only had 6 DK points, 8 hits against. Cleveland got to him a little bit. Advantage Cleveland today, advantage Sonny Gray. Talk about that quick.
Yeah, so as a general rule of thumb for me, these more upper I'm not going to say Sonny Gray's an upper tier, but he's a veteran pitcher. He knows how to make adjustments. So I'm going to trend on him making adjustments in this start and not doing what he did in the last start. So
Makes sense.
You have a rookie pitcher like Spencer Strider, for instance. He went out a couple starts ago, got rocked, but I was worried yesterday. We all stacked the Dodgers last night in Showdown, thinking that he wouldn't make the adjustments, and he ended up making the adjustments. So, and he had a really good game. So, but I'm going to err on the side that Sonny Gray is going to figure stuff out in this start.
Yeah. When I was asking it at the end, I was like, yes, you were on that show. So Hoop, I got that same question for you before you even break down these games. Sonny Gray just saw this team, 5 days ago or something, struggled a little bit. Is that advantage Cleveland? Are you going to go to them at very low ownership? Is that advantage Sonny Gray? Or like Gary, it's each pitcher dependent. You don't weigh it too much. Talk about that.
Yeah, I don't weigh it a ton. I mean, it's, to me, pitcher dependent. I mean, if a team has a guy's number, then maybe you consider it. If you've seen him get rocked by, the same team a few times, then okay, let's take a deeper look. But, one, bad start. I'm not really I'm looking at the total in this game sitting at 8. We have a lot of, teams that are projected to score a lot of runs. For me, this game is, a fade. I just can't do it. I really can't make the case. I think there's just much better spots to attack on the slate. So I'll be fading this game.
Makes sense. Umpire in chat said, who's Christian Kirk? Christian Kirk is the wide receiver on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And speaking of little football action, Simon, Snyder, and myself actually today will be recording Underdog Best Ball show later tonight. That'll probably drop tomorrow morning sometime or tomorrow. I've been in the best ball streets a little bit. I always try and max that 150. They have $10 million in prize pools over at Underdog. They also have the puppy contests that are $5. So if you have not gone over to Underdog, we have a promo code RUNPEER, and they'll match up to $100 deposit match. DraftKings also has some best ball stuff as well. Simon's already done a couple videos. Snyder's on that. I know Hoop's done one of the videos and stuff. I love best ball. It's a lot of fun. I don't like when I have to worry about adding, dropping, waivers, and all that for the season-long stuff. It's a fun sweat throughout the football season to track. So we'll be on tonight. It's not going to be live. It's going to be recorded, but it'll drop sometime tomorrow, talking some strategy, and then we'll do a draft and talk about why we pick certain players at certain spots. So, yeah, Christian Kirk, he is on the Jaguars now, though. Let's get to the next game on the slate. We got the Miami Marlins, the St. Louis Cardinals, Pablo Lopez, and Adam Wainwright on the mound. You didn't have interest in the last game, Hoop. I don't think you'll have interest here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on both pitchers here. And then, again, we're talking a low total, 7.5. There's only one other game that's under 8, and probably won't have much interest in bats in that one either. But I struggle to make a case for anyone here offensively. I won't be playing any Marlins or Cardinals bats.
Gary?
Yeah, I'm going to take a plug for one guy. He's expensive, but, man, this guy has just been running wild over the course of June. I think he's got 24 stolen bases in the month. John Berti, he's 5K. Nobody's going to play him. You just look at his game log. Wow. 10, 10, 20, 16, 12, 3, 9, 23, 10, 16. So I think even though he's not a power guy, normally I want a power guy as a one-off, but I don't mind one-off and John Berti here, even at 5K at no ownership, when he could potentially steal.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're right. Wow.
They've been at that 640 time, I feel like, all the time Miami has. Yeah. And I remember playing Birdie when you said 5K. I was playing that dude for like 2.2K, 2.3K, and I looked, and that was a whole month ago. Time absolutely flies. 5K, man, his price, it went up there in a hurry, but that game log, stolen base after stolen base, I like that call, Gary. And you can run on Wainwright. So, man, third base position too. He's going to be 0.8% owned, and that's whoever's watching this show that clicks that button. So, man, that is 2.2K to 5K. Good stuff, John Berti. I like it. We got 4 games left, over 600 watching. We need 300 likes, 70 more likes for the plays of the day. That's all I will say. We appreciate it if you hit it for the plays of the day. Texas Rangers, Kansas City Royals, Martin Perez, and Chris Bubik on the mound. Hoop, I'll go to you. Talk about this game for bets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked about both these pitchers a little bit, but I do think there's one offense that we can still attack. I mean, slight interest here in the Rangers. I don't think I'm really going to pick on Martin Perez. I don't know if I'm going to play him yet in my lineups, but I don't think I'm going to pick on him. Does a really good job of limiting the damage. And just looking at this Royals lineup, and yeah, it does not look very strong. So yeah, maybe a little more interest in Perez now that I'm looking at this lineup. This lineup's not very good. So yeah, definitely no Royals for me, but I will have some Rangers here. I think there's some guys that we can look at. Semien, I think is solid. You get a catcher in Heim, maybe a good pivot off of Kirk. I mean, a lot of people play Kirk at 4-1. Heim's the same price tag, 4-1. Garver, another cheap catcher, 3-2. So yeah, I will have some Rangers tonight. Definitely no Royals bats now that I'm seeing this shitty lineup.
Yeah, I think the Rangers are interesting a little bit too. I don't think Bubik's going to be popular by any means. He could get a little ownership at his price tag. Man, 2 catchers in that lineup though. I wish I could roster both Heim and Mitch Garver. Heim, perfect pivot from Kirk. Mitch Garver is someone that I used to play all the time on Minnesota. He's got some pop. Now sitting there at 3.2K. And like you said, for the Royals, Carlos Santana got traded. Salvi hurt. That lineup definitely does not look good for the Royals. So yeah, I think Martin Perez definitely makes some sense. Gary, Texas, Kansas City, any bats for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to like Texas in this spot. I'm just pulling up their last 30 days against lefties, and there's a lot of green on my screen here for Semien, Seager, Garcia, Heim, and Nate Lowe. Surprisingly, I'm not going to be playing Nate Lowe, but I'm going to stick to the top guys here. Mini stacks for me. Definitely like Texas a lot. And yeah, no Kansas City for me. I can't do it. I'm going to have a lot of Perez tonight.
Can you make a case for Tavares or Charlie Culberson down there at mid price if you were going a Pablo Lopez, a George Kirby with the Dodgers? If you got their min price, no?
No, I'm not going there.
Sounds good. Big game on the slate, the talking point, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Colorado Rockies, Tyler Anderson and Chad Kuhl on the mound. We got 11.5 total. This is the first game at Coors Field. I know a lot of people, JT always talks about it, usually disappoints. I saw some people in chat talking about it. Personally, I don't look at that too much, but you look at ownership, like, man, Dodgers are going to be so popular. I want to like the Rockies, but Tyler Anderson's been good. I don't like picking on Tyler Anderson really, which makes it a little tough because that side's going to be so low owned. It is nice in Colorado. It's 80 degrees. Hoop, I'll go to you. How are you stacking this Dodgers team? You said you're going to play them. You look at the top of the order, they're expensive. They also have a mid-price guy at Thompson down there in the 9 hole at 2K. My boy Gavin Lux, I definitely like him. Second base, 4.1K. How do you stack this team if you are going to play Kirby, if you are going to do stuff, taking the game theory perspective, and then any Rockies for you?
So the good thing here about the Dodgers, okay, let's think about another team, maybe like Boston, right? The Boston Red Sox, the bottom of their lineup is just not very good. So when you get to Boston in a really good spot, it's hard to get unique with stacking Boston because you really are tied to playing like their first like 6 hitters. It falls off really quick. Well, the good thing with the Dodgers here is you can play everyone in their lineup, like literally everyone with some degree of confidence. So it makes it easier for stacking, and it makes it easier to get a little bit unique when you have 9 different options to choose from. So everyone's clearly in play here. It's a clear situation. If you're playing this, you're just in on it. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to play a little bit of Coors. Like, you got to be in on the Dodgers if you're playing them. All really strong options. I mean, everyone. I mean, okay, maybe Lux could be the guy that goes a little lower owned, Chris Taylor batting 7th, so those are some of the guys that you might want to look to. On the Rockies side, it's tough because Tyler Anderson has been really good. I'd be very focused on just their main guys, though, like CJ Cron, Chris Bryant, Connor Joe are the ones I'm looking at. I don't know if I want to like full stack against Tyler Anderson. So I'll just be looking at their main bats, but Dodgers, everyone's in play here.
Yeah, so
I did say the one thing, if you're looking to stack, is they played that late game last night in Atlanta. I'm sure they got in late today. If you're looking to fade, if you're looking to fade the spot, that's the one thing working in your favor. Late game in Atlanta, fly across the country. That's basically what you're hanging your hat on.
Yeah, and you're hanging your head on it's baseball at the end of the day. It's not. There is a lot of variance in the sport.
Correct.
Man, this Rockies lineup though, I look at it. It's a lot better with that name, Chris Bryant, right there. His first game back, man. That lineup, that name just stuck out of the page. He hasn't played for almost a month now. CJ Cron absolutely destroys lefties. Connor Joe, Jonathan Daza, Brendan Rott. That lineup looks so much better with them. So, man, I think I'm going to have a little interest in the Rockies. That's usually me, though. I like if Coors Field's on the slate, the lower owned side of it, I do have interest because I love the park, of course. So, with Chris Bryant back, yeah, I have a little interest in the Rockies now. I still don't love picking on Tyler Anderson, but they're going to be a lot lower owned. Gary, Dodgers, Rockies. If you're playing 20 teams, do you think you go either all in 100% 5-man Dodger stacks? Do you think you can still play 10, get different elsewhere? How do you approach that for game theory? Dodgers you like? Do you like the Rockies too?
I'm playing 50 lineups tonight on FanDuel, so I think I'm gonna split it 50-50 with another stack. But I think I would do the same thing on DraftKings. I'm trying to get more concentrated in a 20 max environment, and I'm kind of treating my 50 lineups as such. So I want to limit my player pool here, but have a ton of interest in these Dodgers. I mean, I love Chris Taylor in the spot. He's probably going to be the lowest owned Dodger in your stack. Yeah, Gavin Lux, Trace Thompson. I mean, it's all the bottom of the order guys. I'll probably stay away from. I mean, I'm going to have some, obviously, but a guy like Max Muncy, I'm probably going to be a little bit underweight on, just for the fact I did this last time and he hit a bomb. But he hasn't really been good. So I'm going to be a little more underweight on him and probably maybe use that option to, at second base, maybe play a Kevin Biggio or something if I'm trying to combine the Dodgers with the Blue Jays, which you can do on this slate because we like the cheap guys in Toronto anyway. So definitely love the Dodgers in this spot. Freddie Freeman, I think he's glad to get out of Atlanta. He was crying all weekend. He was a little crybaby all weekend. So
you're chirping him now for that? He gets you a World Series.
Man, the dude's a grown man and he was crying. He was crying all weekend. Like, get over it. You made your decision.
Yeah, that was a pussy move too, like to do that, like win and then go to the Dodgers. Like, man, like that's soft.
Money talks.
It does talk. Yeah, I get that.
Y'all see what Clayton Kershaw said? I mean, he said, I hope he has that loyalty for the Dodgers because he's on the Dodgers now. Like you made your decision.
That's different. He's not going to have the same loyalty to the Dodgers.
Still love me some Freddie Freeman, but man, he was a crybaby all weekend.
Yeah, big plus. I agree.
Friday night. I get Friday night. Let it go after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But definitely have interest in the Dodgers. Of course, going to be overweight. I definitely have interest in this Colorado team too. I mean, Tyler Anderson, he's not that. I mean, he's been good this season, but he's looking at his numbers here against right-handed bats. He's more of a fly ball guy against right-handed bats. And Chris Bryant back in this lineup after over a month off, coming off the IL. CJ Cron, Brendan Rodgers, Elias Diaz at the bottom of the lineup is a good catcher. He's 3,600. He's pretty cheap. He's been hitting the ball fairly well this season against left-handed pitching. So I have a lot of interest in this game for sure.
Yeah, I like the Colorado. Like I said, seeing that Chris Bryant name back, and someone's like, don't play Chris Bryant. I mean, you don't have to, but that bat compared to if he was out of the lineup, the dude that they're going to put in for, it's night and day seeing Chris Bryant back in the lineup. Can battle with the pitcher, make him throw 10 pitches. I mean, it's just give me Chris Bryant over whoever else it is any day in this lineup. It looks way better. And I'm glad you mentioned the Elias Diaz. Man, he has been someone that I've been impressed with every time I stack Colorado, he is in my stack. He hits the ball hard. I was watching a couple games like 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about how unlucky he's been. Looks like the luck has turned around a little bit. 2, 11, 18, 23, 5, 7. I mean, you can mix in those double-digit things. 1 homer, I think you can do that against Tyler Anderson. So, yeah, I like this Rockies team a little bit. And they're definitely going to be the lower-owned side. If you play the Dodgers, you play Kirby, you have to know what you're getting in with that. Be different somewhere else. Let's see. Got 2 games left, 45 more likes for the plays of the day. And then that big red subscribe button, we appreciate if you hit it. 2 games left. We're going to talk about stacks. Then I'm going to look at the likes. If we get 300, going to get you the plays of the day. If we're not at 300, unfortunately, we cannot get you the plays of the day. So 2 games left. White Sox, Los Angeles Angels, Lucas Giolito, and Noah Syndergaard. Gary, I'll go to you. Angels, pretty decent total. Giolito really, really been struggling. you play this team though, like how can you play guys outside of Trout, Ohtani, Walsh, stuff like that? Can you get to the bottom of the order in this team? Because I just refuse to when I play them. And then any White Sox for you.
I mean, I like Luis Rengifo at 2,100 quite a bit here. He's coming off a home run yesterday. 16, 6, 12. I mean, he's hitting the ball he's got multiple hit games in 4 of the last 5 games, 2,100. I like that a lot. Even going down, I don't think I'm going to play like a Tyler Wade or Velasquez, or like a Marsh. So I'm probably going to stick to the top 6 here with the catcher. But this is my top offense on the slate. I think they're just going to smash Giolito here. I'm pretty much going to take a very much almost an all-in approach here with Ward and with Trout, Ohtani, and Ward, specifically those 3. But definitely like Rengifo a ton here. And on the White Sox side, I mean, we all know DC mentions it every time. You can steal so many bases off this guy. I'm not going to stack this team, but Timmy Anderson, 5,800. I mean, he could get a couple steals here pretty easily, put up a big number. But not my favorite, going to be underweight. But I'm not going to exclude them from my pool. I'm just going to lower their projection just a little bit and go from there. But yeah, all in basically on the Angels tonight for me.
It's 82 degrees there too. It's the warmest of the slate right now. There's a lot of 76, 78, 80, 82, but it is 82. Whereas I know like last week, 2 weeks ago when it was warm across the country, it was like 70 something there. So that's something to note. Angels, White Sox, talk to me.
Yeah, really like the Angels here. I mean, Giolito's been bad, gotten rocked, the 2 straight starts. I did say I'll take a chance on Giolito on FanDuel, not on DraftKings, but that doesn't mean I'm not getting some Angels bats because really like them here. I mean, it's a tough road for him to go down, especially struggling. All right, you got to find it against Ward, Trout, Ohtani, Walsh. Like I like those 4. Tough. I mean, maybe Rengifo. I mean, he's 2.1K, right?
I mean, that whole bottom of the order is cheap. Rengifo 2-1. Your boy Brandon Marsh.
My boy Marsh,
Landon's boy Marsh 2K.
Yeah.
Velasquez 2K. Tyler Wade 2K.
Yeah, I was initially thinking just like 3-man stacks for the Angels, but I could bring some of these guys in.
The problem is, I wish there was good pitching up top. Like, salary is. I mean, you can leave if you stack the Angels, you very well might be leaving 3K on the table.
Yeah,
Which you can do, but
yes. Yeah, really good spot. I mean, it's a great spot actually against Giolito. So love all those guys. Not a ton, I guess. Yeah, like the steal guys like Robert, I'd be fine with. Tim Anderson, can get on and steal some bases. So yeah, maybe a slight interest, a little bit of interest in the White Sox, not a ton.
Yeah, DC. I'm very interested to see what DC has in his core because we were on the show last time when Syndergaard pitched. We talked about the Royals. We got more and more confident in them. Check DC's core. He had all the Royals in his core, and they did very well that day. But because you can steal on Syndergaard, and the Royals ran a ton. White Sox don't run nearly as much as the Royals do. But excited to see if DC goes back and attacks Syndergaard on the slate. You do have to be a member to see that, though. RPS Eater 25 gets you 25% off. All the sports, one price. DC will be on the premium show. See who he's on pitching and hitting wise. Last game on the slate, the Baltimore Orioles, the Seattle Mariners, Tyler Wells, and George Kirby on the mound. Gary, I'll go to you. I assume no Orioles. But hey, if someone right there has one lineup today, they say, I want to play the lowest owned stack of the slate. I will say it's probably the Baltimore Orioles. You're getting the most leverage against George Kirby. I'm not recommending it. I'm locking in Kirby, but that's something very easy to know. The highest owned pitcher today, clearly George Kirby. Can you make a case for any of these Baltimore Orioles, Gary? And talk about Seattle against Wells.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do it. Like for everything that you mentioned, though, I mean, it's the perfect leverage spot because Kirby is going to be so high on. But I'm just going to, like you said, like you are, I'm locking them in and moving on. I'm just going to be Xing out all these batters from this game, actually. Extreme pitcher umpire, Bill Miller. No interest in bats for me.
I mean, I don't love taking bats in Seattle too. Hoop, you just Xing it out. Any Seattle for you? I know you're not playing any Baltimore.
Yeah, just I mean, I like Seattle when they got Ty France in there. Him out, the lineup just looks a little bit watered down for me. Justin Upton plays for the Mariners. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I saw that name. Yeah, probably like last week, and I stopped up the same thing.
Yeah, wow, I had no clue. Did he just like come back from injury or something?
something like that. Yeah,
I saw him last week, I thought. So that's probably why I recognized it, something.
Yeah. Anyhow, that doesn't matter at all for the slate, DFS wise. But no, I'm not playing anything here. Another 7.5 total. Some really good spots on the slate. We talked about it. It's be a fade for me.
I like it. That is all 9 games for the bats. 300 is the number. Again, I didn't look. We're going to go stacks for Gary. We're going to go stacks for Hoop. Then I'm going to look, and hopefully we got 300 so we can get you the plays of the day. Gary, give me your top. Dodgers don't count. So I'm going to say top 3 stacks. Everyone knows the Dodgers is one. Give me your top 3, Gary.
Angels, Toronto, Pittsburgh.
I like it. Hoop, top 3 stacks.
Yankees, Nationals, and then I'll go the Angels as well. Really like the Angels here.
I like it. Going to read off quick couple things. Hopefully, I hope that we already have 300, but if not, give a little more time. RPS Heater is the promo code, or RPS Heater 25 is the promo code. Get you 25% off your first payment. We also have the promo code with Underdog. Best ball season is right around the corner. They don't even have just best ball. They have like player props. They have a lot of good stuff you can bet on. I know a lot of people in our Discord have had some success over at Underdog playing that. Promo code is RunPeer, and they'll match you up to $100 deposit up to your first deposit. Again, Simon, Snyder, myself going to be talking some best ball tonight. Be on that lookout for the show tomorrow. And then tennis with Wimbledon going on, one of the biggest events. I think it is the biggest event for tennis. 30K up top, I saw. BigT even dropped his score. That's when you know it's getting a little tasty in the tennis streets. Susie does a great job. Spread, Matty Ice. So check that out over here at RunPeer Sports. The likes, 294 likes. I just saw one get up. Man, that's a tough scene.
600 watching too and couldn't get there. I mean, that's
wonderful.
Yeah,
that's a tough scene. So we will be in Discord dropping the plays of the day. Hopefully Gary or Hoop don't snipe mine before we get to it. We'll be back tomorrow. I saw Fridays from now on, Hoop is, and I'm not delaying it for the plays of the day. We did not get it in time, but Friday, AP was saying it's premium. People were probably wondering, where was the RunPeer Sports Baseball show on Friday? Both of the shows were premium. Big T mentioned it. We mentioned it in the past. Because of these like buttons have been a little hurtful. The subscribe buttons have been a little hurtful. So more and more stuff is going to premium. We love doing these shows for you. I love hosting them. I love seeing people in chat. But sometimes when we can't get 300 likes, it is hurtful at the end of the day. So that's going to do it for us. We'll see you back tomorrow. As always, the plays of the day will be going up in the Discord. We appreciate you hanging out. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Hope we see the RPS logos up top. For Hoop, Gary, Simon behind the sticks, I'm Title Town. Good luck, everybody.